Hey, beautiful people. Happy, what is today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. So, I just finished having coffee with an amazing friend of mine. He is an incredible leader here locally in Minnesota. He's nationally known, I think even internationally known. He's amazing. And every time I have lunch or coffee with him, I just leave our conversation so jazzed, so high, so on fire. And I hope you have friends like that in your life, because those people keep you on fire. Those people keep you alive. Those people call out good things in you. So good friends who do that are so worth it. So as I was meeting with him today, he was talking about how he's been following my journey for, I think I've known him now for a year and a half or maybe 15 months, something like that. So he's seen a lot that has happened in the past year. And every time we get together, he's like, you're just stepping more and more into your power. And so I told him about how I got to that point. So one thing I'm really passionate about, something that I have learned in the past year, is that you can trust your desires. And this was huge for me because I had been taught and I had come to believe that I couldn't trust my desires, right? Because as a sinner, my desires are naturally sinful. And so I have to not follow those and follow what other people think I should do. But then when I came to understand the foundational yet radical truth that you are the will of God, I am the will of God, and therefore our desires are God's desires, it changed everything. So because instead of trying to hustle and find out what does God want, what are God's desires, I could actually turn inward and say, what do I want? What are my desires? Because ultimately that's what God desires for me. And since believing that and tapping into that, so many freaking miracles have happened. And another one is happening. If you saw, I did a Facebook Live a few months ago about all these miracles that had happened in January, February, March, where before January and February, March even existed, I had come to believe in my heart that one of my desires was to travel again. As a former world traveler, before having babies, that is something that brings me so much life. I feel so like Nicole when I'm traveling and meeting strangers, and I love airports, I love airplanes, I love the whole thing. And so I declared, like in the fall, like I want to travel. In 2018, I want to travel. I want my flights to be paid for. I want to be paid to travel. I want everything to be covered. Like, I had no evidence that that was going to happen, but I claimed it to be true because I had the desire, because I had a desire to travel and believe that I am worthy of having my trips paid for. I just owned it and claimed it and put it out there and letting the world know, like, this is what I want, letting the universe know, like, show up for me in an energetic match to this thing. And so I did my Facebook Live, I don't know, sometime in the spring, sharing how January, February, March, I was paid to go on 3 trips I was dying to go on, to events, conferences, or workshop that I was so eager to go to, and they were all covered for. And I got paid, like literally, the whole trip was paid for, and I was paid money to go on these trips. Miracles can happen, right? Because when you turn in and you tap into the desires of your heart, knowing that that's God's desire for you, God or the universe is gonna make a way to make your desires happen. I say this all the time in my videos, and it's because I just so believe in it. I want people to absorb this truth that your desires are God's desires for you. God did not give you those desires to torment you. God gave you those desires for you to experience and live out. And God or the universe is just waiting for you to own that you're worthy of those things, that you can have those things, that you don't have to do anything special or really hard or beg or plead. You can just own it. So in April, after I had been paid to go on all these trips, I was like, holy shit, that was easy. Like, if that's really that easy, then I'm gonna tell my next big desire, which is I wanna go international. And so I put that in the universe saying, I know I'm worthy of it. Before I asked for this, the old Nicole had been like, oh, that's so selfish. Hey, Matt, that's so selfish or greedy of me to wanna go overseas. Like, who asks for that? What stay-at-home mom would wanna be separate from her babies or pay all this money? Like, I would never have even entertained the idea of going international. But after I experienced January, February, March, and April, I was like, because this is a desire of mine, because I just love traveling the world, and because I believe my desires are God's desires, that's all I need to know. I don't need to qualify it. I don't need to beg for it. I don't need to do all these special things to earn it. Like, what I desire is meant for me. What I desire is mine. And it's just the universe is waiting for me to own my power, to own my desires, and to know the fact that I just want it means it's meant for me. doesn't make me selfish, doesn't make me greedy, doesn't make me bad. Because ultimately what your desires do is help you show up more alive, more you as you can be. Hey, Key Love. You're a beautiful woman. Speaking of showing up as more you, that's Key Love. Right? So that's the ultimate reason why we have these desires that are in us, that God or the universe has given us. It's so that you can be the youest you that you can be. You're going to have different desires than other people are. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly how it's supposed to be, because we're all unique individuals. We all have unique desires. So you don't need to compare it to other people and think like, well, because I want to go international, but none of my friends are going international. Does that make me greedy? Does that make me selfish? Does that make me bad? I don't even ask those questions anymore. Now that I believe that my desires are God's desires for me, when I have a desire, I trust it and I follow it and I put it out there in the universe, saying like, hey, the fact that I'm desiring this means that it must be possible for me. What I am seeking, that means that thing is seeking to find me. Excuse me. When I get really excited, I actually must gulp air and then I have to burp. It's so embarrassing as a public speaker, but it just is what it is. So in April, I put this out there, right? Like, universe, I want to go international. I don't know when, how, or where. Again, just like I didn't know about these 3 other trips, how, when, or where they're going to happen, how they're going to be paid for. But it happened. Miracles are happening. And I believe something I teach in my coaching to my clients and in my workshops is that miracles are your birthright. And I talk about why that is. And I talk about how you can tap into that. And I've experienced enough of it throughout my life, but especially in the past 9 months to know that it is true. It's a principle law, and law is law is law is law. You don't have to believe in it. It just is what it is. It doesn't matter what you believe or where you come from or what you love and desire. It's just true. So in April, I put that in the universe saying, okay, I want to go international. I don't know the how. My purpose, my role isn't to figure out the how. My purpose is to own it, declare it, believe it's going to happen, and trust it's going to happen. Then the next month in May, I get an email from a really good friend of mine from Europe. She lives in Belgium, and she wrote me. She said, hey, we're renting this huge vacation home in the south of Belgium, and we'll pay for your lodging, we'll pay for your food, we'll pay for your drinks. All you have to do is show up here. You guys, a month after I put it in the universe, and when I declared it to the universe, I said specifically, I know I'm worthy of it. This is my desire. I know I can have it. So I know it's just a matter of you opening up doors and helping me figure out the way. And what I loved about this, because I've traveled all over the world, I love it. But what I loved about this trip is like the universe took care of all the details. I didn't have to pick the location. I didn't have to find a place to sleep. I didn't have to worry about food and drink. Like literally, I just buy a plane ticket to a city and everything's taken care of for me. So also something else I teach in my coaching and in my workshops is that you can have it all. Not that you have to do it all. You don't have to do it all because you can, but it will lead to you being burned out. That was who I was. I was a stay-at-home mom. I made all my food, every single meal from scratch. I didn't buy anything canned. I did the zero waste movement for 3 years, where we literally got our family of 4 down to 1 trash bag of trash a month. I cloth diapered, I breastfed, I gave birth at home. Like I did all the things, and it led to major, major burnout. So I'm not talking about doing all the things. I'm talking about having all the things. And one part of having all the things is like you actually delegate and you get a team and you have people help you. That's how you do it. It's not you doing it all. It's you getting people to help you have it all, and everyone wins in that scenario. So that's something we talk about in my coaching. Anyway, where was I going with that? So when I got this invitation from my friend in Belgium to come international with her this summer, I thought, okay, if it really is true that I can have it all, that anything I desire is possible, I really want for this trip to go with my spouse, possibly with no children, so I don't have to do jet lag with 3 little kids, especially a toddler who has nap time. And I really would want my best friend to come with me. And I was a little embarrassed when I called my best friend in California, the one I just visited in Laguna this month. And I was just like, hey, I'm going to Europe. Do you want to buy a plane ticket and come to Europe with me in 2 months? And she was like, fuck yes, I'm there. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's happening. Literally, I felt so undone. And yet I know that I'm worthy of having friends who would fly across the world for me. That's possible for you. Like whatever kind of friend you're wanting, you can have that. So that's the kind of friends I want. I want a friend when I say, hey, let's go do this crazy adventure. They're like, I'm down. Sign me up. I'm there. I'll buy a plane ticket. I'll come. So she's coming. And what's really cool, you guys, oh, miracle after miracle after miracle. Next summer is John and I's 10-year anniversary. And we've never taken a trip without all the kids, right? It's been 8 years. We've always had children with us. So we said for our 10-year anniversary, let's plan on not taking our kids with us and we're gonna go international. Like we just need to get away. We need to tap into our old love for international traveling. I think the last year before we had kids, we traveled to 7 countries in a year. Like that's just what we did. That's what you do when you have double income and no kids. You can do stuff like that. So we're like, okay, so we've been saving since I think November, December for our next summer of 2019 10-year anniversary trip. And then lo and behold, we're getting this trip a whole year early with all the details planned for us and the lodging and food and drinks paid for. Do you see what I'm saying? And another fucking miracle. You guys, I have cried so much over this because it has surprised me and yet it's not surprised me at all because this is the kind of universe I believe we live in and I help my clients tap into and live in this another layer of reality. There's every kind of reality out there. You can live a reality of struggle, sacrifice, and exhaustion and being fried and bitter and angry, or you can tap into reality where like you can have what you desire and the universe will conspire for you. When I found out we were going to Belgium, I then realized that we would only be about, am I thinking right? I think it's only about 4 hours from my childhood home in Europe. I have 2 homes in Europe, both of whom I've been wanting to visit for years. And I thought it wouldn't be till my 40s or 50s before I could get back to Europe and visit my childhood homes in the Netherlands, where I grew up as a kid. And yet here I am, this summer, I'm going to be able to see where I grew up and where I always felt like was home to me, and I've never been back since I was a kid. So like all of these things, all of these desires I have had that I thought would take probably 10, 15, 20 years before it would happen, going on a trip with John with all the kids, going international with my best friend, going international, period, and then visiting my childhood homes, all are happening this summer with a 2-month notice, with everything being paid for but our plane tickets. And this all happened too when we had just gotten our tax refund, and it was such a beautiful moment for me to realize, because whenever we've gotten an influx of money, whether it's tax refund or when a bunch of like random money showed up for us, that I talked about in one of my other Facebook Live videos in the past several months, my old way of thinking is there's all this pressure, bang day, okay, all this pressure for me to want to use my money in practical, logical ways, like, oh, we should use it for this, and we need to repair this and fix this or replace this. And then I had this option. Am I gonna take this influx of money and use it on these practical things like we do every fucking year? Or am I gonna say yes to a desire of mine, a deep desire that would bring me so much to life, and yet that also means right now I'm not gonna do these other things we could use with it. And so we chose, this is a better investment for us because this is an investment in our marriage. This is an investment with my best friend from California. This is an investment in my friend from Belgium. This is an investment in going back to my childhood and visiting my homes and some of my favorite places in the Netherlands. This is an investment in me saying I am worthy of the desires of my heart and I can trust my desires. And when I follow my desires, doors open, connections happen, ways are made where there seemed to be no way. Right? I could not have planned this trip this month if I had tried. Not even possible. That is the beauty of co-creating with the power of the universe, with God, or whatever you want to call it. Like, that is the power of co-creating, where you have so much power as an individual, as an agent, as the author of your story, saying, this is what I want, these are my desires, and not putting judgment on it, like, oh, bad, selfish, creative. Like, drop all the judgment you assign to it. Just hold it for what it is. I want to go international. I want to start traveling more. I want to go on a trip without kids. That's just what I want. It doesn't make it bad, wrong, or holy, or magnificent, or altruistic. It's just what I want. And because I believe I can have what I want, I trust that when I have these desires, that the universe is going to make a way for it to happen in really beautiful ways, just like this trip that's happening. And all of these factors came together so easily, so perfectly, that I have just wept over it, because I want every person to know that this is possible for them. It is possible for you. And even with like our childcare, so John and I were trying to decide, do we take the kids with us to Europe, Or do we just go? And we were open to both, but just dealing with jet lag and children, I don't know. And I had major mom guilt to think about leaving them. And it's not always easy for us to find childcare, much less find childcare for 3 children for 9 days. Like, that's not easy. And yet the night that I got this invitation, I made a phone call saying, hey, here's the situation. We're trying to figure out what we should do with our kids. And we found childcare that night. Like, literally every part of this adventure has been easy. And all it took was for me to know that my desires are good and I can trust them. And I can be brave with them and speak them out loud and hold with certainty that they will happen, right? So something my life coach taught me is like, you have 100% certainty with 0% attachment. So I had 100% certainty that somehow I was going to get somewhere in the world, go international, but I didn't know the how, I didn't know the when, I didn't know all the details. So I just let it be. I just knew it was going to happen. But I didn't get all worked up, like it has to happen this way or at this time frame. Like, it's just gonna happen. And I'm gonna hold that with trust and with faith and knowing it's gonna happen. And look at where we are today, right? And this fulfills a deep ache I have had since becoming a stay-at-home mom. The last international trip I took was when I took Mercy when she was 11 months old, and I took her to Korea because I wanted her to meet all my people there. And then last summer, I did take a trip to Haiti with my Trades of Hope business. And those have been like the 2 trips I have done since being a stay-at-home mom. And now I'm like, I'm ready to do more traveling. Like, it's possible. The universe has shown me it's possible and a way is made, and with all these bonus features. So this is the kind of stuff that I talk about as a coach and as I talk about in my workshop. And so if you have seen, my upcoming workshop is Saturday, August 18th, 1 to 3 p.m. here in St. Paul. It's gonna be so good. Like, the content is so fucking powerful. Like, I feel on fire as I'm like typing it. That's my typing hands. Typing it out on the keyboard and like rehearsing it and practicing it, and it's just so rich. Because what I'm helping people do is I'm helping them realize they can trust themselves. They can trust their desires more than they ever thought possible. And it doesn't mean that as soon as you start trusting yourself or trusting your desires that the other shoe is going to drop. As long as you feel like the other shoe is going to drop, you're never actually going to be able to fully trust yourself or fully trust what you want. Because some people have subconscious belief systems or this energetic fear that if I want something good in my life, then that means something bad is going to happen. Or if I receive this beautiful thing, it's only going to be taken from me. But when you live in that tension and you live in that dissonance, you actually block the very things that you want. Because you're living a life based in fear. And the universe doesn't operate in fear, right? The universe operates at the frequency of love. So when you love yourself enough to know that you're good and your desires are good and that you are the will of God and therefore your desires are God's desires, and you don't have to live in fear or trepidation about what you want. You don't have to qualify it. Even your desires, and other people do like, okay, I trust myself, but only if they're altruistic. Only if like my desires are gonna help save someone or help benefit someone. But if I just want to drink coffee every day, like that just focuses on me, and so I can't focus on anything I personally want, only on things that help others. And again, that's you limiting yourself. You saying that only some of my desires are good, other of my desires are bad. So in this workshop we're gonna do, it's my Rise and Shine Bitches workshop part 2, but I think another nickname I'm calling is the Dreamers Workshop. For those of you who have a desire, who have a dream, but you're scared, or you're fearful that it's not possible, or it's bad, or it's greedy, or it's ridiculous. What will people think about you? What will people say about you? This workshop is for you. For you to show up and say, I have this desire, I have this dream, I know it's meant for me, or I don't know if it's meant for me, and I have all these emotions around it. I have all these scared thoughts around it. What do I do? So I'm creating this space that is safe for you to bring those to the table, literally. And we're gonna talk about why you have those desires and how they're actually good for you and good for your purpose in the world and how they benefit the world, even if it's as simple as I want to eat a donut every day. Like that, like I said at the beginning of this video, the fact that you have these desires is because they bring you more alive. So if eating a donut a day or drinking a coffee days brings you more alive, then you can trust that desire. Doesn't matter what other people think. Doesn't matter what your family might say. What matters is that you have these desires, and the whole point of our desires is to bring us more alive. And when you are more alive, the whole world benefits. So we're gonna talk about this. And what's really, really beautiful, you guys, is we're gonna create a vision board. It's one of those things that you like think you'll get around to, but you actually never get around to it. So I'm gonna have all the supplies needed, different paper of different sizes, so you can have the kind that you want. I'm gonna have journals there in case you want to create a vision journal, and I do both. I have vision boards and I have a vision journal because I always have my journal on me so I can open it up and see pictures of what I'm hoping to experience, receive, or whatever someday. But this is your chance. This is your invitation to show up and say, I'm maybe scared or hesitant, or I have all these questions, or maybe you're like ripping and raring, ready to go after your dreams. Either place is for you to show up and say, for these 2 hours, I'm gonna take my desires and my dreams seriously. I'm gonna surround myself with other dreamers who get it, who understands what it's like to have a dream that maybe doesn't make perfect sense on paper, but makes complete sense in my heart. Come meet other dreamers, and who knows what connections will be made, what opportunities will open up because you show up for yourself. I have experienced this enough to know when you show up for you, the universe shows up for you. When you believe in yourself, the universe conspires for you. As long as you hold back in fear, as long as you play small, that is what you're gonna experience in life. But when you say, I'm done with playing small, I'm done with having this soul-sucking experience or relationship or job or whatever it is, and like I know I am meant for more and I have these dreams and desires in my heart, everything changes. Everything changes. Once you believe in yourself, and once you take your dreams and desires seriously enough, the universe will respond in kind. The universe will mirror back to you your belief and open up doors you never thought possible in a way and at a pace you will find unbelievable. So come join. It's going to be phenomenal. The message I'm going to bring, the content I'm going to bring, the tools you're going to receive, the passion and inspiration you're going to get out of it. And here's the thing too. I know when there's like workshops or these courses, people are sometimes like, well, I don't know what I'm going to get out of it, or I'm scared. I've never invested in something like this. This sounds hokey or whatever it is. Sometimes all the details of the workshop or events doesn't matter as much as surrounding yourself with people who are doing what you want. So this is for people like, I want to surround myself with people who are going after their dreams, who stand up and speak boldly, who stop apologizing and start showing up unapologetically. People who are going after the life they want instead of sitting by and just letting shit happen. People who are taking their power back and standing in their power and saying, I know I can trust myself, I know I can trust my desires, and they go after them. So it's more about surrounding yourself with people like that and being in the space and the energy of someone who has done that, who is doing that, and who will not stop doing it. I'm going to rise, I'm going to elevate, and this is for anyone else who wants to rise and elevate with me. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm like, come on people, let's ride this train together. It's going high, it's going far, it's going places, it's going fast. Jump on board, let's fucking do this together. You don't have to do life alone. You don't have to stay stuck where you are. This world is full of miracles, and I will show you how you tap into them, how you can have what you want, and have it at a time and place that is so much quicker than you ever thought possible. This is what I teach my clients. I teach my clients how to collapse space and time, and it's so powerful. What you think is a barrier is not actually a barrier, and I can show you how to break through those or how to have them actually dissolve on their own, and then you just get what you desire. It is so unbelievably powerful. So Saturday, August 18th, 1-3 p.m. here in St. Paul, show up. Show up for yourself, show up for your dreams, show up for your desires, and you will be surprised at what you will learn and the aha moments you'll have and the breakthroughs you're gonna have. And I'm so excited about the networking opportunities you guys are gonna have. Because I actually think some people's dreams are going to be realized or start happening sooner than you thought because of the people you meet at this event. And I know that whoever comes will get exactly what they need to get, because that's how I operate. That's how my workshops work. That's how my coaching works, is that whenever someone signs up to work with me, either one-on-one as a coach or in these workshops, they always get exactly what they want. It is so beautiful. So we're going a week from today, we're going to Europe, and it's gonna be fucking glorious with no kids, with my best friend, seeing my childhood homes, seeing my really good friend from Belgium, whom I haven't visited. Last time I went to Belgium was 11 years ago, so I'm slightly overdue to go visit her. It's going to be glorious. Trust yourself, trust your desires, and watch the universe conspire for you. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.